Need some coins to that God Squad you've always wanted? Check out mudpacks.com where you guys can open up exciting packs, win tons of mud coins, and withdraw the coins to your account. Use code ZIRK for 15% off.
The whole thing wobbin', wobbin'. When I come around, got the whole thing wobbin'.
It's that time of the summer again, my yearly Core Elite predictions, and of course, starting off with the quarterbacks. Now, I do want to give a shout out to Ryan Bandy for being a part of the Nota Gang. If you guys want a chance to shout out the next video, drop a like in the vid. Make sure you guys are subbed to the channel. Turn notification bell on and comment down below. Nota Gang. Also, if you guys sign up on Underdog Fantasy using code ZIRK to match first deposit up to $100, you also likely have this significant strike special on Volkanovski for today's fights. I actually will be out in Vegas as the time you guys are watching this video, and I will be there at the fight. So if you guys signed up using code ZIRK, make sure to use this special. And if you missed out on this one, don't miss out on the next one. Sign up on Underdog Fantasy and use code ZIRK to not miss out on any exclusive specials. Now, also, guys, before we get into this, a couple things I want to say. Number one, I am only going to be doing for all of my Core Elite prediction videos here the top 10 at the position, okay? There's a lot more than just 10 Core Elite quarterbacks, a lot more than 10 Core Elite whatever position, right? But I'm only going to be going over the top 10, so of course there are going to be some players who will not make my list, and I'm sure that's going to make some of you very, very mad that your favorite quarterback is not here. But again, only the top 10, so not every single QB can make it onto the list. With that being said, though, let's go over my Core Elite predictions for Madden 24's Core Elite QBs. Also, something else that I do want to mention here as we do get into these base elite predictions, I just want you guys to remember there are not 10, 85 plus overalls at every single position as well. So you may feel like I'm undervaluing some of these players as well. There just simply are not that many 87s, 86s, and normally only maybe 188 per position group. So just remember that. All right, so starting off here at number 10, we have Kirk Cousins. Now, last year, you guys can see he was an 83 overall, and I think once again, he's going to be an 83. He had 4,547 passing yards, 29 touchdowns, and 14 interceptions, going up from 2021, where he had only 4,221 yards, but he had 33 TDs and 7 picks, whereas this year, way more interceptions, 4 less touchdowns, a little bit more yardage there, but I think he's going to stay at an 83. At quarterback number 9, I have Dak Prescott, who came into Madden 23 at an 84 overall, but I actually have him going down to an 83. I know, right? You're absolutely surprised that I actually have him going down, but yes, he only played in 12 games this season. With that being said, he still had 15 interceptions. Definitely was very turnover happy this year, although, as a Cowboys fan who actually watched a lot of those games, some of those interceptions did come because of lack of experience at wide receiver. So yeah, shout out to Noah Brown there. But Dak Prescott, I do have him going down to an 83 overall from his 84. At QB number 8, I'm going to go with Jared Goff. Also, I do want to mention here as well, guys, it is extremely, extremely rare for someone who has a lower overall card like Jared Goff, you're having a 77, even if he had like a way better year, I'm just going to note this here for potential other players that I'm going to mention later on in this video here, to really get a huge jump in overall, they just don't. The way that EA really does things with Madden Ultimate Team, it usually takes about 2 years for someone to get the, maybe what you would consider respected overall if they had kind of a slower start to their career, whereas Jared Goff here has this 77 overall. I have him slotted in going up to an 84. He had a very, very good year, 4,438 yards, 29 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. Jared Goff definitely impressed me this year, and I think he's going to get a nice bump in overall. And the same thing kind of goes for Geno Smith here. Now, maybe you guys feel like this is a pretty decent rating for Geno, what I'm about to give him. Maybe Seahawks fans, you feel like he should be even higher because of the stats that he did put up, but he had 4,282 yards, 30 touchdowns, and 11 interceptions. I have him in as my QB number 7, the same overall as Jared Goff at an 84 overall. I think it makes a lot of sense for him to be 84, to be honest. He might even be 83 because, again, EA just doesn't give these guys huge jumps in overall, but he was comeback player of the year, had a very, very good season. I think he's deserving of an 84. Coming in at QB number 6, I have Aaron Rodgers, who started off this year as an 87 overall, but he definitely had a bit of a down season. Obviously was slightly injured this year as well, so I do have him coming down to an 85, a -2 overall, but he did have his worst season for interceptions interceptions in over 14 years. He had 12 interceptions. He hasn't even had double-digit picks since 2010, which is pretty crazy there. But 12 interceptions. He did have 26 TDs, which was kind of lower for him after these last 2 years, and then 3,695 yards, which is the first time he's had under 4,000 passing yards since 2017, which is actually when he only played in 7 games. So Aaron Rodgers, definitely a bit of a down year. I have him slated in at QB 6 at an 85. Coming in at QB number 5, we have Jalen Hurts. Now, I know some people might say, well, after the year that he just had where he almost potentially won MVP, he balled out in the Super Bowl, maybe Zirksee, you have him rated too low. To be honest with you guys, and I'm going to be completely honest here, I actually think, if anything, I am potentially overrating him in terms of what overall I think he's going to be. And some of you guys are going to argue me about that. But again, EA just doesn't necessarily give people these ginormous overall jumps, and they don't like to have a ton of 88s, 87s, even 86 overalls. But I have Jalen Hurts coming in at QB number 5 at an 86 overall. And to be honest with you, I don't see him being any higher than that. I could even see them putting him in at an 85 because, again, they don't like to give these huge jumps in overalls to players. But I feel like Jalen Hurts is deserving of it. He had 3,700 yards, 22 touchdowns, and 6 picks. And obviously on the ground had a really, really good year. 13 rushing TDs as well as 760 rushing yards. So Jalen Hurts, I have him in a QB 5. Coming in at QB number 4, I have Justin Herbert, who started off this year with an 86 overall. He got that 86 overall from having 5,000 passing yards, 38 touchdowns, but 15 interceptions. And coming into Madden 24, I think he's going to stay at an 86. Now, I debated on actually moving him down to an 85 overall because in the same amount of games played, again, he did play injured this year. He had 4,700 yards, so slightly down, and then also only had 25 touchdowns, whereas the year prior he had 38. But he did have 10 interceptions, whereas last year he had 15, and still ended up getting this 86 overall. I would be kind of surprised, to be honest, if maybe he did take a little bit of a bump down. EA seems to have kind of a forgiveness year almost with players that are very, very talented. You could take a look at cards like Saquon Barkley, Christian McCaffrey year after year when he just kept getting injured and EA just would not bump him down to overall. Justin Herbert here, I think he's going to stay in 86. I kind of be shocked to see him move down. Someone that I think we're going to see bumped up, though, is going to be Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow, I have him slated at getting an 87 overall. He had a monster year. He only played in 16 games due to the Bills game there, so 4,475 passing yards, 35 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions. Last year, he had 34 touchdowns with 14 picks, so he had 1 less touchdown, 2 more interceptions. In terms of passing yards, he did about 140 more, but I think that Burrow now has consistently proven that he is one of the elite quarterbacks in the NFL, and I could see him getting a nice bump here from 85 to 87. Now, coming in at QB number 2, I am going to go with Josh Allen. Now, here's the thing, though, and this is really going to be interesting because, as I said, EA just doesn't like to give multiple 88 overalls to the same position. But here's the issue. I feel like this year they will. I feel like it is needed, and I feel like they will give 2 88 overall quarterbacks. I'm sure you guys already know who the other one's going to be, but Josh Allen, number 1, is the cover athlete. Heading into Madden 23, he was the only 88 overall quarterback as well. Mahomes only had an 87, and when you take a look at his stats, they're just so comparable to what he had last year. In 1 less game played due to the Bengals game, he had passing yards just 120 less than he had the year prior, 1 less passing touchdown, actually had 1 less interception as well, and then rushing wise, he literally had 1 less rush yard and 1 more rush TD. You did have 3 more fumbles in that 1 less game, but again, the stats are just so similar. I don't really know how you could say that Josh should get bumped down from an 88 to an 87, so I have him as well at 88. But at the same time, obviously, Patrick Mahomes at this point, what does this man have to do to get an 88 overall card? Obviously, I'm going to say that Mahomes as well should be an 88. He had 5,250 passing yards, 41 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, MVP, Super Bowl MVP. I mean, come on. Obviously, both of these guys should be 88 overall. Again, I can't remember the last time the EA actually had 2 88 overall just in the same position to start off the year, but if there was ever going to be a time, it would be this year with Mahomes and also Josh Allen. So I definitely think we will see both of those guys at an 88. So with that being said, guys, those are my top 10 core elite quarterback predictions for Madden 24. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, drop a like on it, hit that sub button down below, and let me know down below who you guys think was a snub from this list. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of comments about certain quarterbacks. It just happens. If you guys enjoyed this video, check out these.